Hello SPF301 students. I wanted to take some time to record a screencast giving you guys some further information and tips for a successful completion of your signature assignment, and specifically how you can work towards completing each lesson's slide assignment using exemplary work. Okay, so I'm in lesson 2 and I'm just going to scroll down to our signature assignment here because this is the first time you see information about the signature assignment in the slides that you're doing each week. So after reviewing student work for the first slide of this assignment, it became apparent that maybe we needed to talk a little bit more about how to complete this assignment successfully. So each week when you look at the signature assignments, right, in lessons 2 through 6, you'll see like slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, etc. right here, right? So in lesson 2, this was the first time we saw it, and so we were working on slide 1. And then in this, you're going to note a few things. First, where you see view rubric, this is the rubric that's going to give you the information for this lesson's slide. So the content and what we're expecting to see for this lesson's slide. And then below it, you're going to see the directions for the signature assignment. And then here in this first lesson, we also give you an example that you can look at. So all three of these links, these hyperlinks here, are very important. But what I'm going to talk through first is the directions for the signature assignment. So I'm going to click on that first. And I want to show you that when you pull up the signature assignment directions, okay, you're going to see the directions and the assignment for the signature assignment that you're working towards. So by the end of the class, you have an entire signature assignment created, right? And so as part of your signature assignment each week, you are working on a portion of your presentation, a slide along with notes, so that at the end of the course, you have all of your slides and your notes, and you can write a script and record a voiceover of your presentation, and also write a reflection paper about the assignment. So if you look down here, at the end, you're going to, the last week of the course, you'll see right here, right? The last week of the course, you're going to complete a screencast or voiceover of your presentation. You're going to turn in a script, and you're going to turn in your PowerPoint, and you're going to write a reflective paper about the process. But each week, what you're going to do is work on a part of that presentation, okay? So the signature assignment is developing a mission statement, right? And so you'll see that that's highlighted here in yellow. Developing a mission statement for your career and imagining what does being culturally aware look like in your projected career position. So in this course, we're learning about culture and learning, right? And so you're going to take an aspect of that, of culture and what it looks like in a learning space each week and talk about that in your presentation. But the way you talk about it is going to be by writing pieces of a vision statement, right? And so vision statements are tricky to write because they're their own style of text, right? A vision statement sounds and looks different than, let's say a narrative or informational piece or a report, right? It's totally different. And so one of the things you need to do to be successful at this assignment is that you need to, right, as you begin to consider the creation of your vision statement, take a look at other vision statements that other organizations or employers you're interested in have put out. And here in the assignments direction and rubric document, there are actually links to 3 different pages where you can go and view different vision statements, right? So here's one for Teach for America. And so when you look at the vision statements, you're going to see things like, seeks to enlist, aims for, works to, right? So a vision statement is really your short and long-term goals for your organization or your career, right? And so if you're going to be a classroom teacher, you want to think about what are your short and long-term goals for the work you're going to do, right? And why are those things important to you? And so before you do any work, and if you haven't done this already, and I think a lot of you maybe missed this idea of reviewing what a vision statement looks like or sounds like, go back to these links and explore that, right? Because as you're writing the text for your slides on your PowerPoint or on your Prezi or on your Google slide, you want that text to read like a vision statement, okay? So This first document about reading and reviewing the assignment directions for the signature assignment and the rubric for the signature assignment is very important, okay? The other thing that you're going to want to look at each week is the rubric for the actual slide that's assigned that week. Let me just click back to this Teach for America. Okay, so you'll see here this Teach for America vision statement is long. It's got a lot of language in it, right? And you're creating a presentation, not necessarily one statement written out. So each week, your presentation, the slide that you work on is going to be a few sentences that, if read together, would make up your entire vision statement for your future career. And each week in the course, we're going to give you like the topic. So like in lesson 2, we told you we want you to imagine the types of learners you're going to have and the hidden curriculum that might be in place in your future career, and write your vision for that, right? So on your PowerPoint slide, you should have had, anywhere between 2 to 4 sentences, succinct language using the words of a vision statement, the types of language you would hear: aim for, our goal is to, I envision, I want to ensure, right? That type of language. 2 to 4 sentences briefly summarizing your vision related to learners and hidden curriculum, okay? And so going back to the rubric for this actual slide for this week, right? So you've got your vision statement, and that's only worth, out of the 25 points possible for this assignment, the PowerPoint slide itself is only worth 5 points, right? But on this, you need to have a succinct, few sentences that specifically address, right, your concepts of types of learners and hidden curriculum with respect to your specific career choice. So in order to get full 5 points for that, that needs to be there. And then the majority of the points for these assignments, 15 points, are devoted to your notes that support the ideas that go into that slide. And then another 5 points are given to grammatical errors, mechanics, and the use of APA formatting. All right, so what I did this morning was I went through and created my own example of a vision statement, and went through the steps of that myself, and then came up with some ideas. So I'm going to share some documents with you guys via announcements where this screencast will also be held. And the first is the steps for successfully writing a vision statement, right? So as we work towards this signature assignment, here's some things that I want to make sure you guys know. So I'm not going to read all of this stuff to you, but I want to go over the steps that I discovered that really helped me, and I think that they might help you as well. So first step, in order to complete slides each week and your overall signature assignment, the first thing you need to do is review links about samples of a vision statement, right? And there are some included in the assignment directions and rubric. You could also just Google samples of a vision statement and see what kind of language is being used. What do they look like? What do they sound like, right? And then before you start your work on each slide in each lesson, make sure that you have completed the assigned readings and the assigned viewings for that lesson and up through the course, right? So for lesson 2, you should have already done all the readings for lesson 1 and lesson 2 before you get started on this work, because without exploring the course content, you cannot demonstrate knowledge of these concepts like culture, types of learners, hidden curriculum, right? That's the focus of this week's assignment. And so if you haven't done the readings, you won't be able to speak coherently about those concepts and demonstrate an understanding of what we're learning in the course. So you can't just throw stuff together on a PowerPoint slide before you've done your work to read and understand the concepts as a learner, right? So make sure that you've done all the readings. Step 3. What I found for myself was that it was much easier for me to write my notes first, because as I was writing my slide, it was really hard for me to be succinct and coherent and write a kind of like a summary of all my ideas, a distilled version of all this thinking that I was having. So I started writing my notes first, and I did those in a separate Google Doc that I could then copy and paste over. And so I'll show you what my Google Doc looked like, right? So I titled it, types of learners and hidden curriculum. This is lesson 2. And then I made sure that in my notes, I wrote detailed ideas related to what do I think about the learners that are going to be a part of my future career, my future learning environment, and what role is hidden curriculum going to play, and what is that going to look like in this vision that I have for myself. And so by using some bold words and really kind of chunking out these ideas, I made sure that I could write a lot about, my ideas. Now, this is way too much for a vision statement, but this is all the thinking that goes in to my 2 to 4 sentences that I'm going to put on a PowerPoint slide, right? Okay. So I ended up writing my notes first and then, right, and making sure that when I'm writing my notes that I am giving detailed aspects for each assignment, right? So you see here that I've got a lot of detail for both types of learners and hidden curriculum, which were the 2 topics included in lesson 2. I also want to make sure that I'm kind of tying this all back into this idea of culture, right? Because we're really considering the culture of our future career. And so how are these aspects of learners and hidden curriculum going to play out in relation to culture? And then the last thing that I wanted to make sure is when I'm writing my notes that I'm including references to course materials and outside materials to support my ideas, right? So if you just quickly do a glance through, you'll see here's one citation. Alton Lee, 2003. That was not anything that we read in the course. That was something I found on my own. Okay. Hidden Curriculum 2015. We did read the definition of hidden curriculum via the Hidden Curriculum website. So that's there. That's a course material. I also have, look at this, a reference to the course text, right? And then down here at the bottom, I also have references to ideas about culture from lesson 1. Okay, so when I'm writing my notes, I also want to make sure that I'm adding in references to both course materials and outside materials to support what I'm thinking. And then when I created my reference list at the bottom of my notes, I separated out references from the course and references from outside. So you'll see down here at the bottom, I've got course references, and then this follows APA formatting rules, alphabetical order. I've used the correct APA formatting for whether it's a website, a journal article, a book. And then down here I have my outside references, right? And so again, following APA format there. But for me as a learner, it made sense for me to kind of separate these out so I could make sure that I'm using both things that we've read about or had access to via our course, and then what have I found on my own, right? Since that's one of the expectations for the assignment. Okay, so after I did all that, then I created my PowerPoint slide, right? So then I went in and I said, okay, I've done all this hard thinking. Now I can come up with a PowerPoint slide that is a succinct 2 to 4 sentences about what my vision is for the learners and the hidden curriculum in my learning environment, okay? So you'll see here on my slide that's devoted to lesson 2, right? This is where I have a succinct version of all of those notes that I just wrote up. So I aim to teach all types of learners the art of craft cocktailing and will value the knowledge, experiences, and passions each student brings to the school. Along with learning how to make cocktails explicitly, students will implicitly learn how to share ideas with others and appreciate the ideas others share with them. They will learn to trust their instincts and the benefits of getting outside of their comfort zone. So that's my succinct statement, right? That's going to be a part of my larger vision statement in relation to the learners in the hidden curriculum. But I couldn't write this until after I wrote, let me see if I can get back to my notes page here. Where is it? I know that it's here somewhere, okay? But until after I wrote all of the notes about those ideas, right? And so what I did was I just, after writing it up in a Google Doc, I copied and pasted it into the notes section of my PowerPoint. The last thing that I want to show you about my Google Slides is that on my title page, right, it says my mission statement, which is the, what we're working towards. And then I've listed myself and my future career, right? So it says future owner of the school, mix it yourself, how to make craft cocktails. So I'm imagining through this work for this course that I'm putting together a vision statement for this, school that I want to open up and start, which is how to teach people how to make craft cocktails. So those are the kind of the steps that I wanted to share with you that worked for me. So one would be to review what is a vision statement, what do they look like, what do they sound like, to make sure that you've done all of the readings for that lesson and any previous lessons. I would strongly recommend writing up your notes first, making sure they include all the required components, so detailed ideas to support each topic that we've said for the lesson, thinking about how it relates to the overall culture of your future career, and then finally supporting your ideas with references. Make sure you include a reference list for all the notes. And then at the very end of all that, create your slide, which should be a succinct 2 to 4 sentences sounding like a vision statement. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm going to post this as an announcement. I'll also post links to my notes page and my PowerPoint so you can see how I put the slide together and what my notes look like, and also the steps for success that I've covered in this screencast. As always, we are here as an instructional team to support you. So if you have questions about creating your signature assignment and the slides each week and the notes that go along with it, please email your instructor or post them to the conversations board. And know that if you scored poorly on your first slide and you have work to do to make it better, do that work, modify the slide, because then when you turn it in as your overall signature assignment, you've shown that you've gone back and corrected and really fine-tuned your work, and you can earn, a better score on your signature assignment at that time. Okay, so each week you can tweak the ideas that you've included for the slide to finalize everything before you submit it at the end of the course. Thanks for taking the time to listen, and if you have any questions, reach out on the conversations board or email your instructional team member. All right, you guys, you've got this. Onward.